bend glass. Sirius XM's Joel Osteen Radio.
It set the fire inside of me, and I'm thankful for Joel.
Find your inspiration.
It's just so encouraging. You can't feel down on yourself.
My wife Victoria and I invite you to tune in
24/7
to be encouraged and inspired.
Hope is powerful.
Yes, it is. If you need a miracle, become a miracle.
Listen to Sirius XM, this channel, your life will never be the same.
To hear Joel Osteen Radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Need a dose of sunshine?
Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Or a serotonin boost? Happy Radio is one of many happy extra channels available on the all-new SiriusXM app. Search Happy Radio to start listening to endless feel-good hits.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Coach has. He not only sees the promised land, he knows the bridge that you have to go over.
It's Basketball and Beyond with Coach K. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 5 Eastern on College Sports Radio, Channel 84 in the car, and the all-new Sirius XM app. Johnson lays it up and in! We're getting you ready for the postseason with our experts all day, every day.
This is what playoff basketball is, man. This ain't about pretty stuff.
Defensively, they have 0 weaknesses.
The NBA postseason starts April 16th, and your home for all the action is NBA Radio, Channel 86 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood on a beautiful March the 28th, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit ya where the good Lord split ya. If that makes sense to you, before you drive the other Cadillacs that they have, I want to say what a beautiful day in the neighborhood for Big C Sports Podcast. It's a beautiful Thursday. We have opening day for Major League Baseball. Runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Indeed. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit dig. And then we also have March Madness Sweet 16. The good old boys are trying to challenge for who's going to get to the next round. That would be the 8. But right now, we got to go through 16. I'm going to talk about that as well. And I just love this time of year where we just finished Super Bowl 58 just like really last month. And now we're in March Madness. We have NBA basketball coming around that back nine, if that makes sense to you. The Masters starts next month. But we have the crack of the bat for Major League Baseball. And I know a lot of good old boys, they love the crack of the bat for Major League Baseball. I want to tell you, with Big C Sports Podcast, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I knew I could use more laughter. And then the commercials are done. The stats provided. I do the storytelling. As I told you before, I do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on. Hit me. Right field. Back to the wall. It is caught at the warning track. Well, obviously, you don't want to hear that if you're the team up to bat. But if you're the pitcher, you love the sound of that call. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And then 4 TV streaming platforms as well. Really do appreciate that. And then I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. And I really do I want to give that some praise. I say give it praise. And now we have people who miss a day of practice. I'm talking about practice. You know, I have to also say for Big C Sports Podcast, I love being able to give out the Veterans Crisis Hotline because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And they do a good job helping our veterans get back on track. They are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, and you don't have to just be a veteran, but you can call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on, especially when somebody's leaning back. And that's what I love about Big C Sports Podcast. I want to make sure we do our part, and I do that as much as I can with Big C Sports Podcast, making sure everybody has help. You know, our veterans need help. Sometimes we think we can do it on our own. And if you think you can do it on your own, sometimes we can't do it. And I'm telling you, I got people that are telling me they want to be a mortgage broker. And sometimes you don't need a mortgage broker because the rates are so high. If that makes you clear. But I do want to say, I got this new platform, and it has this chat GPT, and it oftentimes it starts talking instead of just me. It feels like they're trying to manipulate the platform, but things happen when you deal with electronics, all fair and level work. I do want to say what I love about today's show is I have a lot of good things that I want to talk about that I think are important. But I also say that I feel, and it's just important to me, that I'm the only sports show in the universe that still honors California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I'm going to make sure that I do my part in making sure that I honor the Reparations Task Force. And the reason I think I have the credibility for that is I was also written up about reparations. It was by the Associated Press. It was covered by NBC News, CBS News, Fox News, and ABC News. It was last year, March 30, 2023. It said Charlton Curry of Sacramento, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports Podcast. That cash payments are necessary and that money talks. And I know there are times when people think, oh, Big C, you must be out of your fucking mind talking about reparations. But I do believe that even Spock in Star Trek believes in reparations, if that makes sense to you. He's not out of his fucking mind, because Spock was a Vulcan, if that makes sense to you. But I do say, I pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, and I know a lot of people do, but they do it behind closed doors. Like a lot of good old boys do things behind closed doors. President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, and President Bill Clinton, they were holding a meeting in New York City today, and they raised $25 million in one day. That's a lot of money to raise in one day. Imagine if they were announcing they're using that money to pay reparations now. Reparations forever. Will they get more votes as opposed to selling the pictures for $100,000? If you announce reparations for the descendants of child of slavery, the people that put you in office last time, you know you get reelected easier? That's just my thought. You don't believe me? Don't believe me, just watch. Or how about this? Don't believe me, just listen. I want to give praise to the people that can pull more votes for any president. If that makes sense to you. What happens in California, it leads the nation. I want to give praise to the Reparations Task Force, Attorney Camila Moore. She's the chair. She's brilliant. I want to give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown. He's the vice chair. He's brilliant. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I want to give praise to Council Member Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. I'm going to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills, and she's brilliant. I want to give praise to her attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. And I want to give praise to attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. But also a special thank you to California Senator Stephen Bradford that I've met several times at his office. He's brilliant, part of the Reparations Task Force. And also Dr. Amy C. Brown. He's the vice chair of the California Reparations Task Force. He came on my program just last week and get him a package of information for long-term care and long-term care entitlements. But that's part of the group that can help get the next president elected. So don't ignore the people that really are pushing to help you get more than $25 million. But you got to do reparations now, reparations forever. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Everybody knows if you vote for the right people, you got to ask people to pay you back in voting for your cause. If your cause is you want money for your candidacy, how about support the California Reparations Task Force? That would be one of the smartest things you can do, because they are in the position to get your point across. No matter who's running for president, you got to realize how powerful that group is, commissioned by California Governor Gavin Newsom and Secretary of State Shirley Weber. But if that's not enough, I also want to say I want to give praise to RDC, a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth resource development consulting, in conjunction with the law offices of Scott Thibodeau and attorney George Jones. We have the missing link, long-term care solutions by the book. And every president should know this, because with over 3 decades of experience, there was an entitlement that was written into the 1966 Civil Rights Law, signed by President Lyndon Baines Johnson. Right by his side was the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And they know it's an entitlement. You can also find out helping seniors get their benefits, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow, and health care coverage in California is called Medi-Cal. But you get it with the RDC team with Big C Sports. And why would we call it the RDC team with Big C Sports? Why would the president want to know that called Big C? Because your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. And our promise to you, before I give you the promise, I want to say thoughts and prayers with the Joe Lieberman family. He served this country well, and he supported Democrats and Republicans. And I want to just give praise and a moment of respect to him and his family. The late Joe Lieberman really do appreciate his service for this country. But our promise to you, we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. Anybody need long-term care benefits? Protection of your assets without a spend down. Anyone want to have their assets protected? We do that with the RDC team. All paperwork and communications with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. We have ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Anybody you know need medical prescriptions? How about covered skilled nursing facilities? Anybody you know need medical equipment costs? Every president needs to know this, because we learn how to protect your assets, if that makes sense to you, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, which can be up to 10 to 40%, and a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums. And you get that for the rest of your life. Well, what else do you have, Big C? Well, not only that, when it comes to protection, insurance coverage required by law, the general liability, workers' compensation, we have lawyers that specialize in a living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal, planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance. Not only that, bank accounts, checking account, savings account, money market account, certificates of deposits, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. You got to have a fixed index annuity. You got to have it fixed. We also offer not only that, real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. Attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. We have endorsements from the civil rights leaders in California. Also, I got to say, we're working on this right now. United States Department, I won't even say what it is, but we have some endorsements at the highest level, and we're working on getting that out today. That's what I say about the Big C team, and that's why every president should pay attention. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Whatever happens in California, it tends to spread across the country. And what I love about the Big C team in RDC, we have the endorsements from Mr. Attorney George Jones, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also California Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, works with the top lobbyists in California. Ms. Cheryl Brown, the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, CEO of Resource Development Consulting. We have Mr. Alex De La Cruz, founder of American Veteran Benefits, as well as Charlton Curry, Business Development Consultant with RDC and Big C Sports. You got to give that some praise. You got to give that praise, because good membership has privileges. And there are a lot of people that are working with us to make sure we get those benefits out there. And that's what I love about working with the RDC team in Big C Sports. But I got to tell you also, I want to just say, as I mentioned, California Senator Stephen Bradford, you know, he also has in legislation right now Senate Bill 490. It's Freedmen's Bureau of California, and that's to create Freedmen's Bureau in California. That's the bank that pays out reparations. He's also on that reparations task force. So when the president, Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton, they know California has a big voting bloc. And if you paid attention to the people in California that are trying to make things happen, then that's a good bloc to have, but not take advantage of or take for granted. No matter who it is, I believe the president that gets elected this year will talk about reparations, because you can't ignore the voting bloc that put you in office last time. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So everybody knows there's a time when you come out and ask for votes, and there are times when people say, well, what are you going to do for me if I give you my vote? As I was saying, I was talking to today Reverend Tony Perez, President and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project, and I actually had a phone call with him and introduced him to another great friend of mine who is Pastor Eugene, Superintendent Farrell, two iconic men in California that also believe in liberty and justice for all, and that reparations is necessary. Can you imagine having people like that on your side, and they want to support your cause, and they can spread the word? It's about who you know, and it's a fair thing, because there are black and white people and Hispanics and Asian that believe in reparations. I named up the task force. It's not all black. It's about doing right, and doing the right thing. There's no division when you do the right thing. And I don't think any person in their right mind can argue that you should not be the beneficiary of your ancestry when they worked from cradle to grave to give you what you have. And if it was not given to you, they just asked for the repair. I want to thank Georgetown University, right there in the heart of Washington, D.C. They also pledged $1 billion in reparations to descendants of child slavery. There's no problem with that. There's no division in that. They acknowledge the wrongs, that black bodies were sold, men, women, and children, to pay off debts to build Georgetown University. And why do people act like, oh, we don't want to talk about that because that creates division? You know, if your child was sold off, your mother, your father, your grandparents, great-grandparents, your children, you know, if they were sold off, you would want law enforcement to help find them. You would ask for repair, and you know you would. So you can't act like, oh, that's a long time ago, I would not ask for a repair, Big C. I wouldn't ask for a repair or something like that. You know you would. You know that you would ask for it, and you got to give me some praise for bringing that up. Because if you wouldn't ask for it, you're probably not being honest. You're not being truthful. And that's why, as the presidents are in New York City saying, give me $100,000 to take a picture with me, what does I say to every person that doesn't have $100,000 to take a picture? What if you're someone that wants to vote, but you only have maybe $25 to take a picture? Or what if you just turned 18 and you can vote, and you got to say, do I buy gas or do I give money to multimillionaires? How about just say we're taking donations? But when you put a price tag on it, it makes people feel like they're being ostracized. I know even Robert Kennedy, he's running for presidency of the United States, and he has a billionaire out of Silicon Valley in California. I mean, whatever that means is what it means. But how does that make you feel when you got to be wealthy to run for president of the United States? Everybody has their own opinion. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but there are people saying they're going to stick out. They're not going to vote this year. I think, in my own opinion, I'm going to vote. I can't tell people what to do, but I'm going to vote. And I want to make sure that I put that out there on Big C Sports Podcast. I think that's part of our civic duty. Support who you have as your choice for president. Because we stand up for touchdown, home run, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. It's okay to vote. That's my story. I want to give praise to Double O, part of the PR committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, has their own financial talk show called Economic Awareness, called Let's Eat. And everybody loves to eat. She sent me this executive order, 13985. It was for President Biden on his first term in office. It was further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. Think about that when you're asking people to vote for you, and you have reparations in the hand of your pen. You can sign it. President Obama helped create the Affordable Care Act, signed it into law, and President Biden is trying to extend it. But what about the descendants of child slavery? Who's going to take care of the reparations problem and quit saying it's divisive? You can't say it's divisive when people who got the Homestead Act, they didn't say that was divisive. You had to be white. In 1862, Congress gave it to them, over 300 million acres of land. Land is worth money. That land was used to farm. It was used to get a loan from the bank. It was used to start a business. It was used to sell. It was used for a lot of things. And when the people passed away, they had that land in their will. It bequeathed down to future generations that exist to this day. And no one says, oh, that was divisive. And not one person said they want to give that land back. They kept it. So for anyone that argues, oh, reparations is divisive, that's so disingenuous when no one gave back the homestead money or the homestead land. They know who owned land, and they know who it bequeathed to. But you couldn't be African American. You couldn't be the group of people that put President Biden in office because they voted as a monolithic group. And that's the same group that's getting ignored all the time. And to me, that's bothersome. It just is. And I don't know why people say that's not divisive. When the group that puts you in office, they don't get what you promised, which is reparations. It's divisive when you don't get it. And now you're asking for money. Don't wait till the 9th inning before you bring in the closer. You want to know what the closer is? Is when you have a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 9th. And the bases are loaded. And if the opposing team gets a hit, you're probably going to lose the game. What do? You bring in the closer. Coming in the closer to try to seal the game. You know what the closer is? Runners on, bases loaded. The count's full. The pitch, curveballs, strike him out. Strike 3 and you're out of there. Because reparations is the closer. You got to give reparations some praise. If you know it's true, just don't wait till the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded. And the count's full before you bring in the closer. I want to thank Double O, payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. He also sent me this information from, it's so powerful when you think about the United Nations. It said that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. That's not divisive. How's the United Nations ask for reparations, and then we have 3 presidents that are asking for money? Instead of giving out money, or at least acknowledging reparations, because you know it's going to come up, and you can't wait till the bottom of the 9th. That's my story, and I'm taking with it. Give that some praise. You know, I want to say, as I was with RDC 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, a guide to protect and preserve your assets. Yesterday, I was in a hurry. I was curry in a hurry. Yeah, that's a rhyme. Curry, are you in a hurry? In fact, when I played ball in school, they would call me Curry in a hurry because I was an all-county player. At the same time, I was in a hurry yesterday. I bought some wine and I bought some chocolate, and I was in such a hurry, I couldn't find the chocolate when I got home. I thought I had CRS. What's CRS, PC? CRS is called Can't Remember. Excuse me. I told you I'm working on a commercial, and I'm trying to do it right. I don't do my commercials in private. I do my commercials live where people can hear it. I don't have an outtake. I don't have a break. If I make a mistake, you hear it right away. But if I do it right, you hear it right away. So I bought the wine, some red wine, because they say resveratrol, which is the grape, is red grape and is good for your heart muscles. So I bought that, and I hear that chocolate's also good for your heart muscles. So I decided I'd get me some red wine for the resveratrol, and I wanted to eat some chocolate before I went to bed at night. And it was like I couldn't find the chocolate. So I said, I probably left the chocolate in the car. So I went back to the car, and I looked all under the car seats. I looked on the passenger seat. I looked down the middle console. I even looked in the back seat. I wasn't in the back seat, but maybe the chocolate fell in the back seat somehow. But I could not find the chocolate anywhere. I said, you know what? Maybe I put it in my briefcase. So I looked in my briefcase. I could not find the chocolate. And I said, I can't believe I really do have CRS. What CRS, Big C, is called? I can't remember. Excuse me. These allergies are kicking my butt. But I couldn't remember. Excuse me. I had allergies, so sometimes my words may come out a little bit with a speech impediment. But I could not remember. Excuse me. I couldn't remember where I put the chocolate. Would you believe? I said, I can't drink and drive. I would not do that. But I went back to the car again. I said, maybe I dropped it on the ground when I was coming through the garage, and I couldn't find it. I could not find the chocolate. And I said, I think I know who ate the chocolate. I said, my goodness, where's my chocolate? And I heard a little voice saying, Big C, why you always want to eat more chocolate? I said, my alter ego probably ate the chocolate. Give that some praise. I know where the chocolate is now. My alter ego ate it. He said, oh, Big C, it's not nice to accuse people. And his hands were covered with chocolate. That's just my story I'm thinking with. If you have CRS and you can't remember stuff, like you can't remember the people that voted for you to put you in office, you may be suffering from CRS. At least acknowledge when somebody gives you a gift, like their vote. When someone gives you a birthday gift, it's nice to give them a birthday card, not ask for more money. When someone gives you a gift, sometimes you say thank you. You don't ask for more money. Well, how do we get a gift, Big C? You pass reparations now, pass reparations forever. I promise you, it is not resistance. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it because I don't think I have CRS after all. I hope I don't have CRS, but I do have a thought for. Give me some praise for not having CRS after all. It's a small world 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 after all. And Big C does not have CRS. What CRS, Big C? I can't remember. Excuse me. These allergies are kicking my butt. But as I told you, that's my story and I'm sticking with it. We do have opening day in Major League Baseball. Give that some praise. Runners on first and third. They count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on. Hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. Now, there's a lot of games that I've already played. And obviously on the West Coast, I'm not going to talk about the scores because people want to do their own thing. But just some thoughts about Major League Baseball and how they're getting everybody ready for the season opening appetizer with the Soul Series between the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres last week. It's time for the main course. If you have the main course, like my alter ego ate my chocolate. That's the main course. I was looking for my chocolate last night and I just couldn't find it. And I realized my alter ego ate the chocolate. Big C, why are you blaming me? It's not fair to blame people without proof. I said, well, I don't have proof, but I do see a lot of chocolate on your fingers. If that makes sense to you. If you know someone that has chocolate all over their fingers and they're saying they did not eat the chocolate, they probably, maybe, you know what, maybe my alter ego has CRS. Because I know that someone ate my chocolate. That's my story that I'm thinking with it. But I got to tell you, as I think about Major League Baseball and how people are clamoring to get their baseball bats in order so they can hit some home runs, or you got some great pitchers that are getting ready so they can strike people out. Part of what I love about the baseball season, and not everybody loves baseball as the number one sport. I really like football, number one, and then NBA is number two for me. But I like baseball. That comes to number three along with martial arts. But Major League Baseball, full opening day has arrived, and 26 teams on the schedule for Thursday, plus 2 more opening day games on Friday. So it's a lot of wall-to-wall action. You prepare for your jam-packed slate of baseball games. And a guide to all 15 opening day games. Everybody has their own thoughts. I don't get too much into what happened because I, too, want to put things and record them and pay attention later. But the Angels at the Orioles, that game first pitch was 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully people have a lot of good luck seeing their teams win, if that makes sense to you. But the starting pitching matchup was Patrick Sandoval for the LA Angels, and then Baltimore Corbin Burns. And Burns, the 2021 National League Cy Young Award winner. He's making his big debut for the Baltimore Orioles. And again, thoughts and prayers to all the people that had the tragic collapse of the bridge there in Baltimore, Maryland. I believe the Francis Scott Key Bridge. We just hope that everybody, as much as they can, get help from the first responders. And then just a note for this game, I got to tell you that Craig Kimbrel, the veteran right-hander, has a 3.26 ERA with 23 saves and 94 strikeouts over 69 innings for the Phillies last season. When you think about some great players, keep an eye on that. And then Mike Trout has dealt with a myriad of injuries in recent years, but he has been healthy for every season opening for Anaheim. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They should go back to the call the Anaheim Angels. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're Anaheim Angels, in my opinion, but they used to be the California Angels. Either way, they're all Californian. But the opener dating back to 2013, Mike Trout, has been able to do that. He's set to become the third player in Angels history to make at least 12 opening day starts, joining the great Garrett Anderson had 13, and then Tim Salmon had 12. Wishing him nothing but the best and that he can stay healthy this year. Mike Trout is must-see baseball. At least that's what they keep telling us. But he has to stay healthy, especially for the Angels fans. And hopefully, I wish him nothing but the best, if that makes sense to you. We have more baseball action on the mound around the country. And I want to tell you, it's a great ballpark. If people have their own thoughts about ballparks. But this year, when I think about Major League Baseball out there trying to get the attention of the fans, you have the Nationals at the Cincinnati Reds. That first pitch was 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And the starting pitching was Josiah Gray for Washington versus Frankie Montas for Cincinnati. And after earning his first All-Star selection a year ago, Gray, he got his first opening day start, and he's matching up against Montas, who's also making his Reds debut after signing a one-year, $16 million contract. That's a lot of money, but in baseball, it's not as much money as a lot of people might want to think. Out here on the West Coast, the San Francisco Giants, the Gigantes, at the San Diego Padres at Petco Park. Again, game already ended. I don't give out scores, but the first pitch was 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The starting pitcher was Logan Webb for San Francisco, and then Yu Darvish for San Diego. Webb, who finished second in the National League Cy Young Award-winning vote behind new teammate Blake Snell last season, would make his third start for opening day. And then at the same time, you got to look at this National League West. Whether you have Arizona, you have San Francisco, or San Diego, the Dodgers are loaded. I mean, they spared no money trying to get themselves a championship or another World Series. I know they've been winners. I believe they won 11 National League West championships in the last 12 years. All 11 were. And speaking of the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers from Chavez Ravine, you got the St. Louis Cardinals at the Los Angeles Dodgers. First pitch is 4:10 p.m. East Coast time. Starting pitcher was Miles Mikolas for St. Louis versus Tyler Glasnow for the LA Dodgers. And then you got another note. Sonny Gray's hamstring injury opened the door for Mikolas. At the same time, we wish him the very best to make his second start. Opening day start in third overall for St. Louis. Mikolas and the Yankees ace Garrett Cole were the only pitchers who reached the 200-inning plateau in each of the past two seasons. And you know the Dodgers, they have obviously, you can't avoid it, the talk of the great Shohei Ohtani and what happened with the gaming. Is, I guess they're saying his now erstwhile interpreter and friend who supposedly spent about $4.5 million gambling on baseball. And I know they want to sweep that under the rug for the Dodgers, but I don't know if they can sweep it under the rug too much, because that's something that's going to get the attention of a lot of people. I just hope the best. I hope the best for him, especially when you look at Shohei Ohtani, because this guy, he's going to be the face of Major League Baseball. But as a face of Major League Baseball, what do you do with all the talk of betting on baseball, and people want to say, how can we get behind a player that has this type of backdrop in his past? I know people want to look past it. And when you look at baseball, we have to find a way to make sure the game is clean as much as possible, and they will do that as much as they can. But if you're Major League Baseball, you got to know that people are going to be asking those questions. They're going to ask what happened. Where did all the money go? And when you think about the great Shohei Ohtani and needing an interpreter to speak for him, there are things that you can try to look past, but I know at the same time you can't look past it as much as they want to. You got to address it head on, and I know it's up for investigation, and the attorneys are behind it now. They're going to figure out what happened. But even with that said, you got to know what's happened to all the money that started the talk of the LA Dodgers. I know it happened when he was playing for the Angels last year, still another California team, and in California betting is illegal. But no matter where you are, you can't bet on your own team in professional sports. So I know as much as Major League Baseball, they want to sweep that under the carpet. I don't know if you can sweep it under the carpet forever. I don't think you can, but they're going to have to find a way to do that. And if they don't figure out a way to do that, then it's going to make this another bad look for Major League Baseball. So no matter what you think about Major League Baseball, they got to get past that, but you don't get past it by not knowing that it's there or not even acknowledging it. So I hope that Major League Baseball will get to the point where they acknowledge it, and hopefully with the acknowledgement, they can say that baseball is good. That is not awkward, as some people think it's awkward now. But at the same time, I'm hoping that with baseball and the people that love baseball can keep in mind that this game is a great game. You can't let anything stop it or get in the way of it. But there is a lot of talk about what happened with Major League Baseball and the great Shohei Ohtani. I know the Dodgers want to push it under the rug, if that makes sense to you, and they're probably going to do a good job of it, because as people start playing the game, you're not going to think as much about what happened with Shohei Ohtani and the allegations, whether it's him or his erstwhile interpreter. What happened to the money? Who could not miss that amount of money, $4.5 million? But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I believe that Major League Baseball will somehow get to the bottom of it, but they don't want that to be the story for opening day. And I know people in LA, they want to get past that too. But the Dodgers and the Cardinals, hopefully things can work out for baseball. But the superstar slugger signed a record 10-year, $700 million deal with Los Angeles in the offseason. And then you think about, for St. Louis, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt is set to make his 13th opening day start at first base between the Diamondbacks' 7th straight and the Cardinals' 6th straight. Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman extended his streak of opening day starts to 14, 11 for the Braves and 3 for the Dodgers in Game 1 of the Seoul Series. That was on March 20th. But I wish everybody the best in baseball. I just want to see some good baseball, but I do know you got to answer those questions about where the money went. Got the Minnesota Twins at the Kansas City Royals, 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you have the starting pitchers Pablo Lopez from Minnesota and then Cole Reagan for Kansas City. Lopez put together a breakout season after being traded from the Marlins to the Twins, with 2 others for Luis Reyes in January 2023. And the right-hander tied for 3rd in the major leagues in strikeouts. He had 234, and he posted a 3.66 ERA. At the same time, everybody knows baseball's back. It's back, but it's competing with the March Madness. So if you get a chance to watch opening day of Major League Baseball, people are going to watch it, but I think March Madness will ultimately steal the show, if that makes sense to you. But I got to tell you, when it comes to some stats, it's the 2nd straight year the Twins and the Royals have been matched up on opening day. The American League Central rivals played each other in season openers only 4 times previously: 1969, 1974, 2002, and 2017. So baseball's doing something that they haven't always done. It's nice to see those good old boys get together on the mound, if that makes sense to you. Also got another great matchup here. The Tigers versus the White Sox. First pitch was 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the starting pitcher was Tarek Skubal for Detroit versus the great Gary Crotchet for Chicago White Sox, a pair of young southpaws, each making a lot of money in their first career opening day start, will take the mound to open this season for respective clubs. Now, I got to tell you, when you think about some more stats in baseball, when he takes the mound for the season opener, Crotchet would become the 9th pitcher since 1914 to make his first career Major League start on opening day. Isn't that something? On opening day. Baseball has a lot of tradition. A lot of people may not know that tradition, but it's out there. And when you think about the White Sox and Detroit, two Midwestern cities, I tell you, everybody loves sports. Football will be the king in Chicago, no matter what the Bears do. But baseball in Chicago, you're talking about the Cubs more than the White Sox. But the White Sox, obviously, they're trying to keep their game and tradition going also to get the hearts of the fans in Chicago. And, of course, Detroit, they have the great success of the Detroit Lions this year. They're hoping that they can follow that up with a great winning baseball team. We got the Pirates at the Marlins, 4:10 p.m. East Standard Time. First pitch was Mitch Keller versus Jesus Luzardo, and Keller is lined up to make his second career opening day start. He followed an All-Star campaign in 2023, and Luzardo will make his first fall in a strong 2023 performance, in which each posted a 3.58 ERA over 32 strikeouts for Miami. Now, new ace, when you think about it, Tim Anderson will be at the shortstop for the Marlins after signing a free agent deal with the Miami, and he'll look at recapturing that form he had, led to a 318 batting average back in 2019, 2022. All fair and love and war. I got to tell you, there's more great baseball on the mound for these good old boys that love to smell the, what do you like the smell of the baseball game? The hot dogs? You have the corn dogs, hot dogs, sauerkraut dogs. Obviously, popcorn smells good too. But what smells really good? If you're down in Houston with those great big hot dogs that they sell, the New York Yankees at the Houston Astros, 4:10 p.m. was the first pitch for those good old boys. And when I think about Yankees and Astros, it's must-see baseball, especially if you're in Houston. You know they came off the scandal back in the day. Dusty Baker turned things around for them. They've been to the World Series back-to-back. And now you have the Yankees coming to town. It's always must-see baseball when the Yankees come to town. And no matter what happens down in Houston, you got to know that those hot dogs down in Texas, they make some good hot dogs down in Texas. Not only have I heard about it, I've seen them. And, you know, people from New York, they like to eat hot dogs too. So you got to mind your hot dogs when you're down there in Texas for those New Yorkers, those city slickers coming in to eat all the hot dogs and try to get out with a win too. They may get out with a win, but I don't know if they're going to get out with some hot dogs because Texans, they don't like sharing their hot dogs, if that makes sense to you. I'm just being a little bit silly. I was going to say something about New York City because New York City is great for baseball, of course, with the Yankees and also the Mets. But the Yankees are one of the most storied. They are really one of the most storied franchises in sports. They just haven't had a lot of success over the last probably a decade trying to win a championship. They have 27 World Series championships to their history, but it's been a long drought for the good old boys with the pinstripes coming out of the great city of New York. I want to see great baseball by the Yankees this year. That's my story that I'm sticking with. It'd be great to see a New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers World Series or New York Yankees and San Francisco Giants World Series. But I know it's going to be hard for anybody to put more talent on the field than the LA Dodgers. That's my story that I'm sticking with it. So everybody has their thoughts about baseball. I think Chavez Ravine going to be rocking the night. Some great ballparks in Major League Baseball are out there too. And I'll talk about that more perhaps on another show. But I really love what I saw around the country with ballparks filled brim to brim with people that are wearing the attire for their favorite team. But you got to look at that Yankees team. Nestor Cortez versus Framber Valdez starting for Houston. Two big-name left-handers, southpaws, and they took the mound in the heavyweight matchup between the American League powers on opening day. And Cortez taking the ball for the opener for the first time in his career, the third time for Valdez. At the same time, the biggest trade this offseason was the deal that sent Juan Soto from the Padres to the Yankees, with Soto joining fellow sluggers Aaron Judge and then Giancarlo Stanton in New York in that lineup. That's a power-packed lineup. And it could be, maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but it could be quite a year for the Bronx Bombers coming out of New York. It'd be great to see the Yankees in the World Series, and people in Boston say, not so fast, my friend. People in Boston don't want to see the Yankees in the World Series. That's what I heard. A little birdie told me that. But a little thought, Alex Berkman is in line to make his 8th opening day start for third baseman for the Astros, which would tie him with Ken Caminiti for the most in franchise history. So no matter what you think about baseball, it's going up against March Madness. It's going up against some good old boys that are also getting ready. In my opinion, they're chasing down the back nine for the NBA playoffs. Draymond Green got kicked out of a game last night, and I think there was 6 minutes to play in the first period down in Orlando. Steph Curry kicked the chair. Draymond obviously apologized for it, and I hope Draymond gets some help if that makes sense to you, because he really needs it. He apologized for his behavior. You just got to do better, and I hope that Draymond will do better, because there's a lot of people in the Bay Area that stood up for Draymond, and I'm one of them, but sometimes people just need help, and maybe it's just shenanigans. He has a great podcast, and sometimes it keeps yourself on the paper when you're doing things that makes people talk about your name. But I think he's a great basketball player, no matter shenanigans on the basketball court or not. I just hope that he gets his act together. And it may make a big difference if the Warriors can make a playoff push. You got to have Draymond. If he's always been suspended, then you're probably not going to have Draymond Green in the lineup for the Golden State Warriors. I just want to mention that because I know out here on the West Coast, there's a lot of people wondering, what's wrong with Draymond? Should the Warriors trade Draymond? No, you don't trade Draymond Green. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, they've been there for every championship with this last regime they've had in Golden State. I know Kevin Durant came out at a time, but you got to look at those three, and those three players, they're not going to be perfect, and a lot of people expect a lot of championships out of them, but those championship days may be over. But Steph Curry, if he gets a hot hand, he can at least help you win a series. But that's not what the Golden States want. They want a championship. I just don't think they're in position to get it this year, no matter what happens with Draymond Green. I just hope that he gets his act together for the sake of them. I got the Cubs at the Rangers, 7:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First pitch, and the starting pitcher Justin Steele for Chicago, and then Nathan Eovaldi for Texas. And Steele's breakout 2023 season earned him his first opening day start in 2024. The left-hander was an all-star last year, and he finished 5th in the National League Cy Young Award winning vote. Eovaldi, by contrast, is very familiar with opening day starters. He'll be making his 4th start. And when you think about Wyatt Langford, Major League Baseball's pipeline number 6 overall prospect, put together a tremendous Cactus League performance on this opening day. I can't wait to see what the Cubs do this year. We have the Guardians at the Oakland A's. It's a 10:07 p.m. first pitch East Coast time. I feel bad for the A's because there's talk about them going to Sacramento, and then there's talk about them ultimately ending up in Las Vegas. Who knows? I know I've been to many Oakland A's baseball games at the Coliseum, and they don't have the love that you would expect to see with that many championships in history. Whether you go with Billy Ball, and in fact, my next door neighbor played for the Oakland A's. We talked many times about the heydays of the Oakland A's, and now you have the A's are talking about leaving Oakland. The Raiders left Oakland for Las Vegas. Golden State left Oakland to go back to San Francisco. So now you have, how do you fill up the Coliseum when people know you're about to leave them all the time? Shane Bieber on the mound for Cleveland against Alex Wood for Oakland. Bieber slated to make his 5th consecutive opening day start for Cleveland, and while Wood would be making his first career opening day start and his first start for the A's. Great weather tonight in Oakland, a little bit cloudy. The rain's not going to hit until Friday afternoon, but it should be a great Sunday for Easter, all friend of war. But in addition to Wood on the mound, another new face on the infield would be third baseman J.D. Davis, whom the A's signed earlier this month after he was released by the Cross Bay rival, the San Francisco Giants. And obviously the A's need everything they can get. They would love to have a sold-out crowd tonight. But how do you sell out when the team said they're leaving? It's not the players' fault. So hopefully the people in the Bay Area that want to keep the A's in town, if there's any hope of that, then you get a chance to show up and sell out the stadium tonight if you want to. If you have 20,000 fans as opposed to capacity 35,000, then it's not a good look for the fans that say they want to keep the Oakland A's in Oakland. Bieber's 5th opening day start would tie him for the 3rd most in franchise history, behind Hall of Famers Bob Feller and Stan Kowalski, as well as a lot of people that know we need to get some action on the field for all these great baseball players in Oakland. Everybody has this thought about, should the A's stay in Oakland? I would love to see them stay in Oakland. Let's talk about them building a ballpark in Sacramento. I don't think that makes sense. Even though Sacramento says they want to support Major League Baseball, you don't want to steal it from Oakland. The Bay Area has about 7 million people. The Sacramento metropolitan area is about 2.5 million people. And it just makes sense. You have the Sacramento River Cats in Sacramento. The Oakland A's, they're built for Oakland. If they go to Las Vegas, it's for the money. I hate to see that. But if someone offers you $2 billion, you'd probably move too. I know I would. The Rockies at the Diamondbacks, 10:10 p.m. First pitch, East Coast time. And the starting pitcher is Kyle Freeland for Colorado versus Zach Gallen for Arizona. Freeland will be making his third career opening day start, and Gallen will be making his second for Arizona. And when you think about the Diamondbacks, they added some slugging to the lineup. They acquired Jock Peterson, who will likely slot into the lineup as a designated hitter, and they have a lot of hope for him this year. And then Cortell Mart will be making his fifth opening day start for the Diamondbacks, and that extends his franchise record for the second baseman. We have a game up in the Pacific Northwest. The Seattle area is great for sports. It's amazing with the Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Mariners having success. Obviously, you got to have what the Mariners did last year. They pushed the envelope, and they're trying to keep people excited about sports in the great Pacific Northwest. And when I think about that, they have the Boston Red Sox coming in town tonight up in the Pacific Northwest. Could be a lot of rain coming in. I don't know if it's raining right now, but they're expecting a lot of rain to hit the West Coast by Friday night. And obviously, they do have a stadium that it's a retractable stadium. So maybe that's something that they'll do up in Seattle if they want to have the fans sit up in a more comfort. At the same time, baseball is great and is back. I want to just touch on this game before I head out, because for the starting pitcher, Spencer Strider, I got to tell you one more thing before I get to the Braves and Phillies. What I love about Seattle is they lost the NBA, but they came back and they kept the Seattle Seahawks. And then you have the Mariners are playing good baseball. You have Brown and Bello, and these allergies are kicking my butt. I don't have CRS, it's the allergies that are kicking my butt. At the same time, you have starting pitcher Brian Bello versus Luis Castillo for Seattle. And then is a young rising pitcher for Boston, takes a veteran Cy Young Award potential. It'll be Bello's first career opening day start, and these allergies are kicking my butt. They're trying to start opening day too. I wish nothing but the best for the Good Boys from Seattle and the Good Boys from Boston. Achoo! I'm telling you, these allergies are something else. I want to finish out with the opening day for Major League Baseball. I got the Milwaukee Brewers at the Mets. That was a 1:40 p.m. start. Starting pitcher was Freddie Peralta from Milwaukee and Jose Quintana for New York. Peralta posted a 3.86 ERA with 210 strikeouts in 2023. And then you look at Milwaukee's new ace after the team traded Corbin Burns to the Orioles in February. I wish them nothing but the best. Maybe they'll have more success than I am with my allergies. The Braves, you got to think about the Atlanta Braves, the Good Boys from down south, and their opening day. They're at the Mets. That was a 1:40 first pitch, as I mentioned. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Jose Quintana for New York Mets. Peralta a 3.86 ERA, 210 strikeouts, as my allergies are saying, achoo! But I don't pause for my allergies. I bring it with me, and I'm proud of it. You got to look at the Brewers, a 2-year, $34 million deal, and opt out after the 2024 season for Phillies' Reyes Hoskins. I hope they have enough money in the bank after they all donated to the presidential campaign for POTUS 45. He has his own issues. But at the same time, I want to say the Mets have a 66% winning percentage, 41-21 record in season openers. That's the best all time. They've won 6 of their past 7 on opening day. And you know they love baseball in that region of the country, and hopefully they love it more than I love these allergies that are trying to get me. The Braves at the Philadelphia Phillies, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time, first pitch. In the matchup, Spencer Strider, achoo! Woo! And and Zach Whelan, Philadelphia. This National League East-West, this East Showdown features only opening day starting pitcher matchup in which both hurlers received Cy Young Award votes last season. Strider, who led the majors with 281 strikeouts, finished fourth in the National League Cy Young race, while Wheeler was sixth in all fair in Leavenworth. I gotta tell you, sometimes when you get allergies and the show must go on, but I gotta tell you this, Aaron Nola starts opening day for the Phillies. Nola's streak of 6 straight opening day starts is the third longest by a pitcher in franchise history, behind Robin Roberts, 12 straight, and Steve Carlton, 10 straight. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give me some praise. Woo! For getting through that sneeze-infested Big C Sports podcast. But as I told you, there's so much going on. It doesn't matter if you have a sneeze. That's why I work with RDC in case I have CRS syndrome. They can help me with CRS syndrome, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. I'm going to finish off with March Madness. It's not as mad as my allergies kicking off. All's fair in Leavenworth. The show must go on. I'm looking for the best for all these great teams. UConn taking on their number 1 seed, taking on number 5 San Diego State. All's fair in Leavenworth. Illinois, number 3 seed, taking on number 2 Iowa State. And I think, obviously, I'm thinking UConn will end up matching up against Illinois later. In the West region, number 1 seed North Carolina, taking on number 4 Alabama. I'm liking North Carolina in that. Number 2, Arizona taking on Clemson. You're on the West Coast in LA. I think Arizona gets that. I think we're looking at Arizona versus North Carolina coming down the stretch. In the South region, number 1 Houston will take on Duke. Houston's really tough. I mean, they're a tough team. You got to look at, to me, I really like the way they're playing. Got number 2 Marquette taking on number 11 North Carolina State. I'm going to have Houston and Marquette meeting in the next round. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I got the Midwest region, number 1 Purdue taking on number 5 Gonzaga. I think Purdue's just too big for Mark Few's Gonzaga Bulldogs. I got to go with Purdue in that. They at number 2 Tennessee taking on number 3 Creighton. I like Tennessee. They're a powerhouse out of the SEC, and I think they're going to match up with Purdue in the back nine, if that makes sense to you. My Final Four, my goodness, I'm looking at UConn having a chance to take on Arizona, and I'm flip-flopping on Purdue. Purdue and Marquette, that's I'm really not comfortable with that, but if it comes down to that, I would have UConn knocking off Purdue, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But I'm not sure about that, but I don't bet. If you do bet 800 Gambler, I'm not going to bet on sports, so I don't really have a dog in the fight, if that makes sense to you. But I'm going to tell you what I do believe. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of the car and start drinking or driving, because the life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. If you love somebody, there's no way you could justify letting someone you love get in the car, drinking and driving. Doesn't make any sense. That drink can wait. Please don't drink and drive. I know a lot of people getting ready for baseball and basketball and all the things that people want to do. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. As my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Anybody that loves you, they don't hit you. They don't go beside your head. They don't choke you. They don't slap you. If they do that, call 911. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that crap. You need more LEADIT in your life. LEADIT is an acronym for love is the answer. Anybody that loves you, they don't smack you up beside the head. Call 911 if you're dealing with that crap. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, as you also know, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. And then I sing like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. There's no one greater than Muhammad Ali, except for these allergies. Achoo! My goodness, these allergies are something else. But I can't go on pause. I thought I had a sneeze button, but it doesn't work. Achoo! I don't have CRS after all. because I can remember things if that makes sense to you. But as I always tell you, I love paying homage to my beautiful family and my mother's side, my great-grandparents, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, my grandmother, and my grandfather, my beautiful mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Done the Head Start program, a food program, and coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, I want to say my beautiful father. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure the airplanes can fly high so we'd all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. And then love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning. Woo! When Todd would speak, always saying go forward, a Reparations reader. I love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, and 3.5 years from a major university. Helped me set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast back in the day at Salem Media. Became the only time and the first time in the history of the country that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, erudite, a good man. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, Malcolm. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers to look up stats for the Big C Sports Podcast. And one day, Malcolm said, Dad, he said, why don't you just Google it? And the light bulb went off. Been Googling ever since. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. Always do that. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. Even with allergies, I want to leave a message for President Abraham Lincoln. He said it, give it to the presidents that were asking for money to take a picture with him. He said, sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. President Biden, you're right there with Bill Clinton and President Obama. You can do it. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. If it's any time that you can pull together and honor President Abraham Lincoln, you got to sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.